And if he does actually get found that he did this, and these charges are going to land him 23 years in jail. So the defense attorney's got to do a good ass job of getting him off, because if not, he ain't making no more music. He's going to be right there with R. Kelly and probably dropping some shit.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it.
He's gonna be right there with the aura, and somebody gonna drop something that was bootleg, and he gonna say, "Nah, I ain't do that. I ain't say that."
This week, the assault trial of Tory Lanez against Megan Thee Stallion kicked off with many watching to see if they can get a glimpse of what really happened in July of 2020. Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, took the stand to testify along with her once close friend, Kelsey Harris. Many have speculated about the accuracy of this story, and it is a very much watched trial. Admittedly, Stick, I know nothing about this story. So I'm going to lean on you to educate me on what's going on. So what is going on here, and what is your take from the first week of the trial?
So you ain't know it, but I got you, my boy. I got you. So Pete. So apparently at a pool party at college in a crib back in July of 2020, apparently Tory reportedly shot Megan Thee Stallion, right? So the incident apparently happened because of an altercation or an argument between Tory, Kelsey Harris, and Megan Thee Stallion, which is an argument in the SUV about, each other's careers, allegedly, right?
Okay.
And of course, going back and forth with, over the past 2 years, of course, Megan has kind of used this to low-key kind of uplift her career and kind of play the victim as far as her actually being shot by Tory Lanez. Now, the medical report later viewed that Megan still had bullet fragments in her feet in connection with the shooting. As a report of April of this year, the records state, among other things, that the risks and benefits of operational treatment, had been discussed as far as her maybe having, hitting arteries, possibly with the treatment, or maybe even infection, or possibly loss of the extremity, which I think is kind of crazy. Now, I went back and watched the 2020 live that she did, and how she was talking about how Tory got into an argument, was mad because, what I'm saying, he's not really famous, and he got a big jump off of the feature that he did with on the What's Poppin' remix with Jack Harlow and them boys, and they were just going back and forth. That's what she said in the live. And she said the way this man shot at her was they was arguing, and he pushed her out the car and dragged Kelsey Nicole out the car by her hair and put her on the curb, and he was shooting over passenger door, and he shot 5 times, and every time he shot her, he said, "Dance, bitch, dance."
Okay.
I'm thinking to myself, okay,
Harlem Nights type shit, ain't it?
You know what I'm saying? Like, dance, bitch, dance. And she said that she ended up getting shot in the foot. Now, another report that she said in the live was like, the reason why she didn't report a gun is because of all the police brutality things that was going on. And it's 4 black people in the car, and she ain't want the police to see a gun and go crazy and kill everybody. So she just said that she had glass, and she stepped on some glass. That's where the glass thing came from, that she stepped on some glass, because she didn't want to tell the police that 4 black people had a gun and risked some police brutality. This is in the wake of all the BLM stuff, where a lot of that stuff was happening. But on the adverse of that, a lot of police officers weren't trying to be talked about like that by BLM and by the black community. So they were all kind of like hesitant to do anything as far as like shoot somebody, because they didn't want to be the next person that shot a black person. So she went on live and she talked about this and said, you shot me, and I tried to save your bitch ass, and blah, 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 blah. She going off on the live, right? Now, of course, Tory is maintaining his innocence. You know what I'm saying? And he said he never shot her. Never shot her. He said he didn't even have a gun on him. And
I mean, it would be pretty dumb if he admitted to shooting her.
Facts. He said in September, Lanez made a slew of claims that the incident was a part of the Daystar Project, which is a album that he dropped in 2020. He said
Mhm.
he is there in a couple of songs. There are claims where he broke down in great detail where he was saying that he was perpetuating that that he was framed, of course, and he always claimed his innocence and never even shot her. Forensics later on down the line came back and said that his DNA wasn't even on the magazine, nor was it was inconclusive that his DNA was even on the gun. Cool.
Got you.
Now, Kelsey Nicole, what she is saying that she been capping this whole time. She is the star witness because she said so much 2 years ago and now is recanting all that she said now throughout the trial. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Saying that she was going through some things with her daughter dying and she was not in a good mental space at that time. And she said a lot of things through text messages that she didn't really mean to say and blah, 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 saying how she texted the bodyguard 911, Tory shot Megan, blah, blah, blah. But she said, like, it's cap, like it's all cap. But it's
So
a lot
she.
of stuff
Oh
that's
wait,
going on right now.
let's start right there. Let's start right there. So the star witness, so to speak, of the first week,
Mm-hmm.
she originally text saying that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion, but now she's saying it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm. So now she's saying that.
that's
Now she's saying, okay, so I'm gonna go to that. All right. So
yeah,
let me
yeah.
go through my notes. Let me go through my notes. So she so this is I'm just going through this is from CNN, right? I'm just going
Mhm.
through what they reported. And there's a lot of things on social media where they kind of went through exactly what was said during some interrogations. But Kelsey Harris, Kelsey Nicole, was granted
Mhm.
immunity on Wednesday before
I
her
don't know who
testimony.
that is, by the way.
I don't know who she is either, honestly. I have no idea who Kelsey
Okay,
Nicole is. Apparently,
okay.
she's a rapper because at one point, um, Meg Thee Stallion put out a song that was going
Mhm.
at Kelsey Nicole and Tory Lanez about how he shot her. He put a song out, but
Okay.
it was called song. I got it written down right here somewhere. Oh, Shots Fired. It was called Shots Fired. It was a track that she dropped on her album back in 2020. But then
Mhm.
Kelsey Nicole also dropped another diss track in response to that called Bussin' Back. Basically
Okay.
a lot of that joint was in there, like, who you all you had to do was say all you had to do was, save your best friend and let them know I didn't shoot you, but who really shot you, type shit. You know what I'm saying?
So
That's a
the Biggie joint.
exactly who
Who
really
shot you?
shot you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the beat that they both used to kind of go back and forth at each other.
The
So
Biggie. The
yeah,
Biggie beat.
the Biggie beat. Yeah,
The
it was mixed, but
ding
it was that.
ding ding
Dun,
ding
dun,
ding.
dun, dun,
Okay.
dun. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Facts,
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah. Classic.
So
Classic.
classic song, classic song.
Mhm.
So on day one of the trial, right, it was revealed during the opening statements that Kelsey Nicole, also referred to as Kelsey Harris, would be testifying later on in the case that she saw her close friend get shot by the defendant. This was on day one. Meanwhile, Tory's team made a number of claims on day one, including reiterating prior remarks about Kelsey. As for a claim involving Ben Simmons for the Brooklyn Nets, namely one of the salacious relationships that Megan Thee Stallion had, among others, right? Ben
Okay.
Simmons, Lil Baby, Da Baby, a couple different people who she had sexual relationships with. Exactly.
So
Of
I
course,
did see
you know,
that. I
right.
saw that she was her now partner is embarrassed because of it's out that all of
Mhm.
the numbers of partners that she's had since 2020
Yep.
until now.
Until
And
now.
so yeah, I mean, listen, man.
And
I
then
didn't I
lied and said she didn't have a relationship with Tory, but then it came out that she did have a sexual relationship with Tory. But go ahead. I'm not even going to cut you off.
Yeah, no, all good. I mean, I expect this. I wasn't expecting you to give me a whole rundown of it.
Oh, I got a
I
whole
just don't.
rundown of all 5 days,
Yeah.
cuz.
Yeah. I just don't know anything about this whole situation.
Yeah.
The only thing that I know is basically some of the what you just said about the situation that happened in July of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were dating, but apparently she denied it, and
Mm-hmm.
now it's true. We're finding that it's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I also have seen that, or I've seen up until the trial, I did not know a trial was going to happen, but I have seen that she's been getting dragged on social media for like everybody saying that this is false, that it never really
All
happened.
cap. All cap. I believe it's all
And
cap, but I'm gonna go through it too.
Okay. And then like she had like it came back to light because Drake put it had a line in a song in his recent album. Um so I mean that's really the only thing I know about it. Again, I'm gonna say I don't know if it's true or not. I'll just go back to social media is so toxic.
It's so
Um
toxic, bro.
because for this to go back and forth, once she went on live talking, acting all hard and stuff or whatever,
For
according
sure.
to what the notes that you said, she went on live to confront Tory when they have each other's number. They actually had a relationship. She could have gone to him or, had lawyers go to him, whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
And then she makes a song, and
Hmm.
then she makes it about the other individual that was involved, the lady that was involved in it, and then
Hmm.
that person makes a song in response to it's just like a lot of mess that is unnecessary, and for whatever for I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. This is the part of our culture that I can't stand. I can't stand this. We gotta act like we so hard and so gangster, or so thug and so hood because we have an image to uphold. No, man. We no again, life is precious.
Indeed.
So to do all of this on the internet, all you doing is spawning up people that really do live that life to go against people that are in your camp.
Hmm.
Yeah, and now you going back and forth, and actual casualties will happen because of this,
For
or
sure.
may have happened because of this. And so this is the part of social media and how we utilize it that drives me crazy, because it is a great tool. I want to keep that clear. Social media is a great tool, not to take away from this Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lane's case, but it is a great tool. But the elements that it's not is situations like this where we use it to basically elicit violence, and it's
100%.
it's ridiculous. It's
It is
ridiculous.
ridiculous. It is ridiculous, man. And it's funny because okay, so we talked about day one of the trial. So on the second day of the trial, Megan herself took the stand. And while
Mhm.
on stand, she reiterated a number of her previous talks about the shooting, including Tory allegedly trying to pay her off, giving her $1 million not to say nothing. So
But she's bigger
she,
than him.
but she's bigger than him. Well, I guess now she is, but yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah, she
I'm
is.
saying she's seen as being bigger
She's
than him.
seen
Her
as bigger
career
than
has
him. Yeah,
Yeah, her
yeah.
career has been better than his, right? Up until this
So to
point.
speak, yeah, so to speak. I mean, Tory has had to do since he's been, implicated for these charges and things like that. He's had to do a lot of things like kind of like off the radar and things like that, like drop like EPs and stuff like that. Not necessarily albums, but a lot of EPs and mixtapes and stuff like that. So
Mm,
that way he can still get shows and get get music out there. But
right.
yeah, since then, yeah, she has been seen as a little bit bigger, doing shows with Beyonce and doing songs with Beyonce and getting up there with Cardi B and stuff. She's been doing better, yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
apparently he was trying to give her some hush money, quote unquote. She also criticized how some artists have responded in the case, telling the court that she can't believe, and quote, this is her quote, can't believe I have to come up here and do this, and calling out some male focused aspect of the male focused aspect of the music industry. So this show situation in the industry is like the big boys club.
Mm.
She also reflected on how some have attempted to make her the villain in the case and try to make Tory the victim. And then she goes on to say, I understand that I wish he would have killed me if I knew I had to go through all of this. I said, oh my God. So day three was a long day for everybody because this is when Kelsey came up there and she started capping, right?
Mm.
She started capping about everything, saying everything was a lie. So first of all, she was granted immunity, like I said earlier, and she said, "I don't care to be here today." That's what she told the attorney. I just don't want to be here. But then Harris
Can I
told the
ask you
court,
something?
"What's up, G?
So I'm kind of confused.
What's up?"
So you said you don't think it actually happened, right?
I don't think Tory shot her.
Okay. So you said that, but then you said, "Oh, girl is capping,"
Yeah,
and so
because
basically,
initially, yeah. Go ahead.
She initially said that it did happen, or alleged that it happened,
Mhm,
because she sent text messages to her bodyguard saying that Tory shot her, which
mhm.
means if she's capping, then you believe that she actually, her text messages were real and that the
The text
situation did
messages were
happen.
real, but I don't. So there's been reports that people heard 5 shots ring out. Right
Uh-huh.
now, let me keep going. Let me keep
Go
going.
finish. All right, my fault.
Okay, so Harris told the court that the reason why she didn't want to be there is because of her mental health was suffering due to a recent death of her and the birth of a child. Due to a
Mhm.
recent death and the birth of her child, said this is just a triggering situation and accused Megan of weaving a false narrative and tarnishing her reputation. She goes on to say, and I quote, Megan painted the picture that I betrayed her. She's painted the picture that I'm this bad person and a bad friend and that I took hush money. There are so many lies. Tory never paid me off and Tory never paid Megan off. That's what she says. And then
Mhm.
the witness was then asked, who was Kelsey. The witness was then asked about the defense's suggestion that she was that. Hold on, let me go back. The witness Harris was then asked about the defense's suggestion that it was she, not Lanez, who shot Megan. And then she went on to say that's ridiculous. Right. So now it's implications that she actually shot Megan from
Mhm.
from what Tory's camp is saying, what Tory's lawyers are saying, and not Tory. And she's like, that's
Mhm.
ridiculous. So then she then detailed the events that led up to Megan's alleged shooting, described her estranged friend as being very drunk and a little off, meaning Megan was a little off that night and drunk at the night
Mhm.
at Kylie Jenner's party. Said the argument took place inside Kylie's crib and then carried on, she said, without getting too specific. There was so much going back and forth, name calling between me and Megan, Tory and Megan, Tory and me, Megan and Tory, blah, blah, blah. But then in the September interview, she claimed that Lanez threatened to shoot her and Megan, but Harris was asked if she remembered such a statement, but she remained tight-lipped. Like, do I have to answer that? She actually asked the judge, do I have to answer that question? And
Mm.
the judge said, well, yes, ma'am. And then she said, is that was in the car, right? And then Kelsey said, yes, that happened in the car. And then
Mm.
the judge asked, what did he do? What did he say? Why don't you want to answer that question? And she just goes on to say, I don't want to be here. And then pleads the fifth the rest of the day.
Okay.
I'm just like,
I mean,
bro, like
it's yeah, it's a
it's so
lot
much
going on
back
with
and it's
this.
a lot going on with this thing. And this is why I feel like this shit really didn't happen. I really don't believe Tory shot her. I don't know who, if people are claiming that there were actually 5 shots that rang out, I don't think Tory was the one that shot that gun. Number one, because forensics never found his DNA on the gun. So somebody who shot 5 times, you would think that his DNA would be on this gun, right? On this fucking
Unless you
weapon,
wearing,
right?
I mean, we watch CSI growing up. People can wear gloves and shit like that to mask their DNA
But
or keep their DNA from getting on there.
in July in LA, you think this man put a gun on to shoot at her?
A glove? I
A
mean,
glove, a glove on to shoot this gun?
I don't know, or it could have been wiped. I mean, I don't know enough about
True.
this case, this person, or either of the people, honestly, to give a honest opinion on if I thought it happened or not. But there
Mhm.
are ways, we all know there are ways that DNA cannot be on a
Very true.
magazine case, on a gun, or
But
whatever
it
the
was
case
also
is.
showed, and which this can go back to your point too. It also showed that when he was detained, there was also no gunpowder residue on his body either.
Okay.
So for somebody who shot a gun 5 times, you would think
Right.
that DNA would be on the gun and there would be some residue on his body, at least on his hand, his
Right.
wrist, his arm, something, right?
Right.
So on
But when was
Thursday,
he detained? Because
he was
didn't she
detained that
originally
same
say
night.
she stepped on glass?
So he was detained that same night. He went to jail and was out on bond on $130,000 bond.
How does
So
that
whenever
make
they
sense?
detain,
How was she? How was she? How did she say? And I'm not saying that your story is wrong. I'm
no,
trying to
right, right,
figure
right.
out in my
I'm just
mind how
going
that
back
makes
from
sense.
what I see from the court. Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm
Yeah.
listening.
How does she originally say she stepped on glass, but he was detained that same night for shooting a gun? That doesn't make sense to me. That timeline
So
doesn't add up.
he was detained on carrying a gun without a license and supposedly some domestic violence kind of situation. That's what he was detained on.
Okay.
That's why he was taken downtown. That's why he was held on $130,000 bond, which of course he got that bread, so he got out the same night, right?
Hmm.
But it's it. It's so much going on. It's so much contradicting evidence. So many contradicting stories. It's all he say, she say, which is why I don't understand
Right.
why this even went to trial in the first place. Because you got Tory saying he ain't do it. Megan saying he did do it. Initially, Kelsey Harris saying that he did, but then get to the courthouse and say, you know what, I was lying. I was kind of in distress. And I don't think I really said that. And I don't know why I sent those text messages in. I didn't really see
Right.
him do it. I didn't do it, but she didn't shoot herself. But I didn't see Tory do it either. But who did it? I don't know. Like, it's just a lot of shit going on,
It's a
bro.
lot. It's
There's
a
a lot of
lot.
shit
Yeah.
going on because she came back on day 4 and she was testifying again and said the night was a blur. We were under the influence. I did send the bodyguard that message, but like she don't know what the fuck she's going back on her story that she sent 2 years ago, which was a 90,
Mm-hmm.
which they actually looked at on day 5. It was a 90-minute fucking interrogation that she went through 2 years ago that said that she down to the T was saying that Tory did it. This was the argument. This is what happened. This is where it happened at. She was on point. But then getting to the courthouse all week, pleading the fifth and changing the story. So like this whole situation, bro, is like a bunch of bullshit. I don't think Tory did it, but if he did, Megan and Kelsey are doing a bad job of getting this man arrested. A horrible job of getting this man put in
Yeah.
jail. And if he does actually get, found that he did this, and these charges are going to land him 23 years in jail. So the
Mm-hmm.
defense attorney's got to do a good ass job of getting him off, because if not, he ain't making no more music. He's gonna be right there with R. Kelly and probably
I knew
dropping
it
some
was
shit.
coming. I knew it was coming. I
He's
knew it
gonna
was
be
coming.
right
I was
there with
waiting
the
for it.
aura. He's gonna be right there with the aura, and somebody gonna drop something that was bootleg, and he gonna say, "Nah, I ain't do that. I ain't say that. I ain't say I shot that bitch." And he's gonna have to come out with a report.
I
You know
knew
what
it
I'm
was
saying? So
coming.
like,
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of bullshit, and I'm just gonna end it right there, bro, because it's so much, bro, and it's all like contradicting stories, and it's contradicting
Yeah.
testimonies from both sides, mostly from, because Tory ain't even took the stand yet in the first week. It's
Mm-hmm.
all been Kelsey and it's all been Megan. So Tory ain't even took the stand yet. So it's like their stories are so contradicting that I don't even think Tory even got to testify for real,
Mm.
because it's so much
Well,
bullshit.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I thank you for updating me on that nonsense, and I will continue to not keep up with that trash. And like I said, I respect. I this is real. This is not 100%. And I'm not belittling the injury that Megan Pete got, or the seriousness and severity of Daystar Peterson, who is Tory Lanez.
Who is Tory Lanez?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna take away the severity of that. His life he may see 23 years in prison, but this is a bunch of nonsense. And I really hope that in the next couple years that hip hop R&B stars just keep themselves out of this craziness, because it's always something when it comes
Always
to
something.
the hip hop culture that doesn't quite make sense. And we have to deal with this and hear how toxic our culture is because of this nonsense.
This bullshit. I think my final wisdom on this bullshit is, man, me personally, I don't think he did it. But if he did, like I said, they're doing a horrible job of implicating him on these charges for real. Kelsey and Megan, Miss Pete and Miss Harris, y'all fucking it up. If y'all trying to get him
Hmm.
implicated, y'all are fucking it up, because they are contradicting themselves left and right. But
Yeah.
uh, just like D'Lo said, man, I'm gonna just reiterate what he said. Hopefully, in the future, that these megastars and these entertainers and athletes alike will keep themselves out of this bullshit, because like you have, just like we said in the last segment, you have to be on at all times. You have to be on at all times and making sure that you're covering all your bases and not putting yourself in no bullshit. This right here that Tory and Megan are in is some bullshit. It's some bullshit, and it should have never fucking happened, for real, for real. And with all the lies that's being told, and all the shots that's being fired, and all the diss tracks that's being made, and all this bullshit could have been avoided just by he. She didn't have to say what she said in the car. It's all a bunch of he say she say, bro. I don't even know how to even end this final wisdom. Honestly,
It's all good, bro.
just get this shit out of the fucking way, because it is some
We
bullshit. We're not talking about this shit no more. I might come back and
I'll
post
end
something
it.
on the page and say Tory Lanez not implicated on or whatever the fuck happened, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not talking about this shit no more.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll end it with I'm gonna have to do a lot of bleeping for this last segment because
Don't bleep it out.
dag.
Don't bleep
Oh,
it out.
nah, I'm
Don't bleep
bleeping.
it out.
I'm bleeping. I'm bleeping. We trying to get. Yeah, yeah.
It was funny because Shannon wanted to go across that table on my boy.
Yep.
So I don't gamble like that. I did pay like the little 25-cent slides, and I hit like I paid $25 on the slides, hit the 75, cashed out immediately because I tripled my money. So we ain't got that 75 and bought me some drinks. If we should have